What is up, guys? It's your boy War. I hope everyone's Wednesday is as good as mine. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial DIY video on how to remove your Srt4 steering wheel. Now this application works with pretty much every second gen Neon. I haven't done the research on the first gens. I don't know if the first gens is the same as well, but I did do the research on the second gens. You know, your 2-liter base model, or you know, any Srt4. The application is pretty much the same. As for the steering wheel, the airbag setup, and everything else. Now this steering wheel here I have here is the one I replaced already. I got it from the junkyard yesterday, and it was off a non-Srt4 car. It was a second gen Neon, and the whole car was completely rotted. The rockers were shot, you know, basic thing for Neons. It was a heap. It was definitely a New York car, and the interior was crap. The only thing left intact was, weirdly, the steering wheel itself, and it was clean. It was not sun damaged or anything. It's pretty nice in my opinion, and I think it's better than the Srt4 steering wheel. Now here's my old Srt4 steering wheel. Bring it into the light, see if I can see it better, see how bad it was. This whole side was just, see if I can get the camera to focus, it was just cracked and very hard, and this is where I usually, you know, rest my hand when I want to drive, and this makes me not want to touch it because it's just, you know, uncomfortable. Let's see, it's faded. Like, this whole steering wheel was garbage. The top's fading and cracking. And it was done. So what I do notice, the difference between these two, the Srt4 steering wheels and the just the regular second gen Neon steering wheels, I like the second gen Neon steering wheels versus the Srt4 because if you notice on the Srt4 steering wheel, you have these, if I can get this to prop up right, you have these lines that go right here, like where they stitched from the factory. They just stitched around this part. But you have these lines here on the left side and on the right side, whereas on the regular second gen Neon steering wheel, it flows a lot better because it's just all one, you know, it's all one thing. There's not like different lines on it. Doesn't throw it off. I'm not saying this throws it off, but this definitely does look a lot better. It just looks more smoother in my opinion. Okay, so as I replaced this steering wheel already, I'm just going to show you how, like, what tools you need and how to take it off. I'm not going to take it completely off of the steering column, but I'm just going to show you the steps that you would need in order to, you know, remove it. So what you're going to need tool-wise is, I got a 3/8 ratchet with 13 millimeter. This is going to be used for taking the main bolt from your steering column off. And this right here is a 3/8 ratchet with an 8 millimeter socket and a tiny extension to it, which you'll probably need that extension. Needle nose, maybe you might need needle nose, and it's not here, but you might need a breaker bar. I just used my jack handle that I have in the trunk, my jack, for more leverage when you got to go and take that main bolt off. So you're gonna go over here, and there is 2 bolts on either side. It's an 8mm. You'll see the holes in the steering wheel. There's one there, one on this side, and there's one there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those off. And the front of your steering wheel, the airbag assembly, should just come pop off. Alright, so those 2 bolts are out. Now this should just come right off. Now, I'm not going to do this, and I shouldn't be doing this now without my battery disconnected, but I'm just showing you guys how to do it. Let's see here. Now, like I said, you're supposed to disconnect your battery because you don't want to trip the sensor from the airbag. Definitely don't. I always gave it time. I let it sit. I took the terminal off of the battery and I let it sit for a bit, and then I started to do it just to be safe. But this is the airbag sensor. You're gonna wanna, you'll see the tabs right here. I don't know if you can see in the camera. There's the 2 tabs that you'll just pinch and you just pull up. They pull up and it's really easy, it'll come off. Now with this thing here, if I could see it. Okay, so there's really only 2 things to disconnect on your airbag assembly. In order to just, take the steering wheel off, these are just the 2 wires you have to disconnect. Everything else is pretty much straightforward. Just those 2 wires, and then that last bolt for the steering column. Now, I showed you how to get the airbag sensor off. And the last thing you need to take off is this right here. This is the horn. Negative. You got the negative and positive wire for the horn. Now you only need to take one of them apart. I went ahead and did with the black one, since to me it just seemed the easiest. Now you can see that there's it's sort of like a tab. You just literally pull this back and you pull this wire out, and then it's pretty straightforward from there, common sense. Now this, you just pull the loom out from this hole right here in the middle of the steering wheel for these wires. After you get this bolt loose, and steering wheel should come right off. And like I said, you might need a breaker bar to take that off because it's going to be on there. Like, I don't want to say I struggled with when I had to take off mine, but it wasn't coming off with, my hands with the ratchet. I needed more leverage to it. Anywho, when you go to take the steering wheel off, leave the bolt a couple threads in, because what you want to do is, what's the word I'm looking for? You're gonna want to bang it with the hammer. Well, I used a little rubber mallet. So you leave it a couple threads in, that way the steering wheel don't come flying up at your face, because you do need to break it loose from the threads on this column here. If anybody's taken apart the steering wheel, they know that process. So that's pretty much straightforward there. I just explain it to the people who haven't done it before. It's just easier to know what to go through. Anywho, I'm gonna put this back together, since that's really all you need to know to take apart the steering wheel. It's pretty straightforward. It's really easy. I want to say it's probably one of the easiest applications to remove the steering wheel. I mean, I know a lot of cars are the same, slightly different, but to me this was fairly easy. I didn't even know how to do it. I couldn't really find any videos on how to take this apart, so I figured this would be very helpful. And yeah, I just went right into it. Didn't know any videos. It's not that hard, it really isn't. But I'll catch you guys on the next video. I don't know if I'm gonna do another DIY or whatever. maybe vlog. But catch you on the next one. Comment. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'll be back on it and I'll be doing more. See you guys. Peace.